Good evening, all. Welcome to NHRD Bangalore Chapters Academia Industry Connect NHRD Confluence first student-only webinar. I see we have more than 100 participants who have already joined in. This is first of its kind student webinar wherein exclusively for students who are in their final trimester or the year. We at NHRD thought that we should help students also who are in this situation due to this pandemic COVID-19. So welcome to all of you. Just before we start this session, I would like to just give you a quick intro about NHRD and what we do. Next slide, please. So NHRD is a not-for-profit organization that was established in 1989. There are multiple activities that we do in NHRD, which is basically to upskill, multi-skill, and help people work around. So Bangalore chapter is one of the 40 chapters within NHRD, and we've been awarded best chapter for last 3 consecutive times. Bangalore chapter has more than 2,500 members, members who are working professionals, and close to about 190 plus student members as well. What does Bangalore chapter do uniquely? If you have that question, basically Bangalore chapter has a flagship event that is called as Hita Showcase, wherein there are a lot of companies that come and present their best practices for everybody. This happens year on year. Apart from that, there are monthly events. Every month we have a thought leadership meeting for professionals to network and learn from them. So what is NHRD Confluence? NHRD Confluence is the industry and academic wing of NHRD that works exclusively with academia and faculty. What does NHRD Confluence do? We work with students for their upliftment and help them grow and get ready for the industry. The flagship offering of Confluence is called SIP Mela, Summer Internship Program Mela. This is a platform wherein all the students from various colleges and companies come together to select. It is like a like an interviewing session which spreads across about 2 months activity. The other programs are a Gurukul HR certification program, which is for HR students and aspirants. Then we have an award of summer internship programs that is basically a presentation of our summer internship program. The best 3 awards are chosen. Those projects are uploaded on our website, and the students also get a citation trophy and a cash award. Apart from this, there are multiple competency development programs that NHRD Confluence as an organization does for students and faculty alike. So just a sneak peek to what all activities that NHRD has done in the last month. We have multiple sessions that happen every month. So we've completed 3 sessions. Today we are on May 16th, Growth Mindset webinar. Apart from this, we have 2 more sessions that will happen. This is exclusively for the faculty and HR community. Next slide, please. Pronob, next slide. Okay, to just give you a quick update of what Confluence has done, which is student specific only. We've had the SIP Mela in January and February of this year. Then we completed HR Gurukul certification program. In May, we are having Growth Mindset webinar. We have 3 more upcoming programs, which is student only program that's happening next month. Then we have a design thinking webinar for faculty and academicians only. Then which is followed by SIP awards for the first year MBA students who just finished their internships at various companies. Next slide, Pronob. Okay, so now we are moving to the main activity of today. That's the webinar. So I have 3 eminent panelists today in this webinar. Mr. Pronob Chetia, who is the Director HR Volvo Group in Singapore. He's been an NHRD person, NHRD member, NHRD volunteer for almost 6-7 years that I know him of. Then he's joined by Baljeet Chhabra, who's content leader at Avaya in Singapore. And we also have Mridu Das, who is an entrepreneur, who's actually a engineer, software engineer turned entrepreneur, who runs his own startup called Automovill. There are fun facts of all the three. You will get to hear them out and learn from them. Over to you guys. Over to Pronob. Thank you.
Hello, just a quick check, Guru, can you hear me?
Yes, Pronob, I can hear you loud and clear.
Hello? Yeah, okay, very good, very good. Okay, hello everybody, very, very good evening. This is Pronob here, and as Guru said, I'm an active NHRD member, work for Volvo Group based in Singapore. Of course, I'm Indian, I'm from Assam, and I'm very pleased to, join Guru Prasad, Baljeet, and Mridu to bring this, fantastic webinar. And I think when we were working on this as a concept, we really wanted to bring a very good experience for all of you. And I would say that it is a good learning for us, and we need to move forward together. This means that we need to maintain certain discipline to make the webinar active. One of the challenges is, of course, our internet connectivity. On one side we are connected virtually across the globe, but we do find certain difficulties, so we will adjust and help each other. And then second is that it would be good that we use mute and unmute options, and then we will have some good fun while moving forward. And I would say that as a concept, we are going to hear two real life story. Number one, we will hear from Baljeet, a story about a girl or a successful women leader who has moved towards a magic zone all the way from mathematician to the a successful HR manager. And the second one, what we will hear from Mridu Das, more about his entrepreneurial journey, a movement from a software engineer to a successful entrepreneur, which means that these stories will talk about a true competence development journey, and that would be very, very interesting. In between, I will introduce the concept of growth mindset as a concept, and for that, I have shared a video link with all of you. I'm sure probably you have seen that. And it talks about a 4 learning zone, and then we will talk more on the concept. And I want to say that there are many wisdoms out there in the world, in our life, in our education, in our corporate life. And one of the wisdom that what we see here and what we have learned before is also from Albert Einstein. And he says that you have to learn the rules of the game, and then you have to play better than anyone else. As an example, when Virat Kohli go to play, a fantastic cricket game against probably Australia, Pakistan, or New Zealand, and carry the responsibility of 1.3 billion population behind, he really need to understand the rule of the game in advance before he entered the ground as a captain or as a batsman. And then the team has to play the game, and that's very, very relevant in our life as well, in personal life as well as in professional life, and that is all about the growth mindset, what we are going to talk today. So with that, I want to request Baljeet to join and share her real life story, a story about a successful life. A life, which talks about a mathematician to HR. So, Baljeet, are you around?
Hi, Pranav. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. I'm Baljeet. And let me start with a question. I'm actually very used to live audience, and but let's try. How many of you remember Pythagoras theorem? I'm assuming half of you do not remember. And how many of you remember the mouse and the lion story, in which the lion gets caught in the net and the mouse tears the net apart and frees the lion? I think 100% of us, we remember the story. So why am I giving this example? I thought, let me tell you a story to make you understand what exactly is the growth mindset. And Pranab said, what can be better than telling my own story? So I come from a service class family where my father was posted in factories which were not technically in cities, and we would be away from cities. We would travel about an hour in company buses to go to school. I remember my father was posted in Bareilly, and the schools would start at 8 a.m. and the colony where which we stayed was about an hour away, and Bareilly has harsh winters. So we would go to school at 6:45 when it will be completely dark and foggy. And my brother used to tell my mom, "Raat mein school kyun bhej rahi ho, mamma?" So that is how it would be, that we would go to school in the night. I was a school topper in my 12th class, and I was super confident that being a school topper, I would get admission in engineering or in medicine. And so I had not applied for any other colleges. To my bad luck, I did not get through engineering or medicine, nor did I have admission in any other colleges. I was very depressed. I didn't know. I thought, this is not what I had in mind for myself. Somehow I got admission, and my father convinced me that we are mathematics background. My father is an engineer, and we are all very good in mathematics. I should do honors in mathematics, and so unwillingly I joined BSc as maths honors. But I was very clear that I need to have a professional degree, and this is not what I had dreamt for myself. So right in the second year, I started preparing for my post-graduation, and I gave a lot of exams, and I cleared to IMT Ghaziabad. I was super excited. Like, I was like, now my life is set, and this is what, that's it. I am in IMT. I will get amazing placement, and I will be the best person in the world. Again, bad luck. The dot-com bubble busted that time when I entered college within 6 months. All my seniors who had campus placements, their offers were withdrawn. And there was complete gloom and doom in campus. And I was like, bad luck cannot be so, this is not possible. I did not have an internship. Somehow we got an internship in sales, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I did 6 months of sales internship selling routers and other broadband solutions in Delhi in DTDC buses. And you know how life is for a girl traveling in local buses in Delhi doing sales, very difficult. But somehow, good luck that the economy revived and we had companies that started coming to campus. I got placed into IBM in Bangalore, and that was my dream come true. I was so happy. We were given air tickets. This is the first time I was flying in the air. We were given accommodation in Lee Meridian. I had never stayed in a 5-star hotel. I was like, wow, this is what my life is. And my first salary, along with allowances, was 15,000 rupees. I never felt so rich. I called up my parents and said, I have never seen so much money in my life. It was an amazing journey in IBM as a business analyst for 6 months. But after 6 months, I was like, I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. This is not what I signed up for. Every morning I would have to literally drag myself out of bed to go to office. And I will tell myself, kuch maza nahi aa raha. But I could not sit with the feeling. This was a haunting feeling. I was working. I thought I cannot continue with this, but I can't quit my job because I needed money. So in IBM, what they did was that when our batch joined, they assigned us a mentor, somebody who is 7 to 8 years experience in the company, who knows the company, is not very senior, is not very junior, who can navigate and help the new joiners who are out of college. So I gathered all my guts and went and spoke to him and said, you know what, I'm not happy and I do not know what to do. I have this feeling I'm performing, but somewhere there is a voice in my head that says, you're meant to do something else. He said, you know what, Baljeet, why don't you speak to few people and figure out what you really want to do? He gave me names of few business leaders who I could speak to. I sent them an email. I did not think that executives would be ready to talk to somebody who's fresh out of college, who is not clear what she wants to do. Days passed, no reply, and I was like, I knew it. Nobody's going to reply to me. Suddenly, I get a random email from somebody who was secretary of one of the business leaders and said he would like to meet you on this day. I was nervous and happy that, oh yes, somebody is there to talk to me. And he asked me, what do I want? What do I want to do? I told him, I do not want to do what I'm currently doing, but I do not know what I want to do. I'm ready to explore a few options. He spoke to me. He understood what I am, what I'm good at, and then he said, I will get back to you. Again, I did not hear from him for 15-20 days, but patience is the key when you want to switch roles, is what I told myself, though I had a sinking feeling in my heart. Then he sent me an email saying, would you want to meet our recruitment head? Maybe he can guide you of what you can do. I was like, wow, okay, I will meet. And I went and met recruitment head of IBM. And I told him, I am a member of placement committee and I am very good at this, people management. So I think I will be amazing in HR. He looked at me and he smiled. He said, and he asked me a few questions. He interrogated me for 30 minutes. And then he said, I have a role in campus placements. We are looking for somebody like you who understands students. Would you be keen to join my team? I was like, wow, this is like really somebody is giving me a role without an experience in HR, without a degree in HR. And I told him, yes, why not? I went and told my family. My family was devastated. They said, you are an engineer, you are a mathematician. What will you do in HR? You have no degree. I said, that's my dream. I want to do it. And I jumped into it. I took the risk. I did a phenomenal job for the first. I was hardworking and I did a good job. And then I navigated into the system and I did different roles within HR. While doing different roles, I realized that back in the time when I moved to HR, it was not fashionable for technical people to move into different line of fields. So I was a little shy or ashamed to tell people that I'm not an HR background, but I had to upskill myself. So I would keep reading a lot because practically I was great, but my theory and my concepts, because I had not studied HR, was not good. So I had to upskill. I kept moving, and then I kept my ears and eyes open of what are the different roles in HR, what can I do, what is my strength, what is my weakness. And then I realized compensation and benefit is one place where it is a perfect combination. It requires mathematical skills, it requires people skills, and it requires somebody who understands numbers and who can convert numbers and tell it to a layman what those numbers mean. I think this is where I have to be. And I went and spoke, and slowly I moved into compensation and benefits. I did various geographies, various roles, And today I am the Asia Pacific leader of compensation and benefit in Avaya, managing 11 countries. 2 to 3 years back, I went and met the recruitment head who had got me into HR, and I asked him, I said, the kind of answer I gave you, I would have not hired myself. How did you hire me? And he looked at me and smiled and he said, Baljeet, I saw fire in your belly. It was not your answers. I saw that you had the wish to do something, and you and that's why you were hired. And I think I'm very proud of the hiring that I did in HR. And I was very happy to hear that. And that's how it was. You must be thinking, why am I telling you this right now? So compensation and benefit, which was my magic zone, has become my comfort zone. And I am in an autopilot mode right now. You wake me up in the middle of the night and I can tell you about things about compensation and benefit. And again, I thought, I need to move. I need to do something more. I need to add value to what I'm doing. So about a year and a half back, one of my friends said, you're so good in talking. Why don't you start your video blogs? I was a little hesitant. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. Everybody's on social media, and I think people and the world needs person like you. I was like, okay. And I started doing some video blogs just for my friends. I was a little shy. I thought, what will people think? What is an HR person like her, such a senior person, making mockery of herself, talking about Bollywood doing on social media? Doesn't gel well. But my inner voice said, Baljeet, you need to keep continuing. From my friends, they gave me confidence. They would give me feedback. I opened it out to public, and I created my own page. I went on Insta pages, and I did well for few videos, and few videos were real bummer. I would get very upset. But then somewhere down the line, I had heard this talk, and I think sports gives us very good example in real life. So, and we all Indians love cricket. So it says that you need to keep playing. You need to be in the field. You have to keep, not every ball will be your sixers and your fours. You have to be there in the field playing tuk, tuk, tuk. And when the right time comes, you need to just take your bat and swing the ball, and then that crosses boundary, and that is your master stroke. So that is what my story is. And from a mathematician to HR manager, trying to be a video blogger these days and storyteller, and that is where I am, my magic zone is. I hope you enjoyed my story, and as an exercise, I would want you to write about one of the current idea that you have been thinking about. Because I think when you write down on a piece of pen or paper or on computer or in your phone, you can crystallize the idea. Once you write what is your idea about, I would want you to put thoughts into the idea of what are the things that you required to get that idea going, and how would you fine tune it. So that's a little exercise that I would want you to take back, think about it, write. And one thing I would say, never give up. You never know when when some luck strikes and you are able to move from your learning zone to your magic zone. Thank you so much. I will now request Guru Prasad to continue with the next part of the webinar.
Yes. Thank you, Baljeet. Thank you so much for your insightful thoughts on this. Guys, we have a small and quick quiz for all of you. This is a 6-question quiz. What do you get out of this quiz? We just wanted to check how your general knowledge skills are, and then there will be 3 people who are winners of this quiz. That is, who will answer all the 6 questions quickly and correctly. They will be getting a mentoring session each from Pronob, Mridu, and Baljeet. Probably sometime later. The announcement of the winner also will be done by me. We will all receive an email of who is the winner. Okay. Now over to the quiz. Here goes your first question. You have 5 more seconds to answer. Looks like most of you have got it right. The answer is B, Gujarat. Here goes the second question. Last 5 seconds. Okay, looks like people are confused between option A and option C. Answer is option C. There you go with the third question. Last 10 seconds. Looks like most of you have got it right. The correct answer is Malayalam. There you go with the next one. Last 5 seconds. Okay. Looks like most of you've got it wrong, and if you've got it right, it is Morarji Desai who holds the Guinness Book of World Records. The next question should be very easy. Last 10 seconds. Yes, half of you have got it right. The second can be got. This is the last question. Last 5 seconds. Okay, looks like most of you have got it right. It is a Microsoft Word. Thank you, guys. Also, if you have any questions, you can raise your hands and leave a message for us in the chat box. We will be able to respond to all the queries one after the other. Please bear with us. Over to you, Pranav, for the next section. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. So I'm back. Thank you, Guru. I think it was probably very nice and interactive. Some of the questions were a little tricky, and I hope all of you have liked, the idea of having quiz with all of you today. So let me bring back to the concept of, the growth mindset, what we are, talking. And we heard from Baljeet, how C practice growth mindset, right? More from a practical, life experience point of view. And we have, seen variation in her life, all the way, having many situations. Sometimes situations were challenging, sometimes people coming and helping Baljeet. At the same time, Baljeet is also trying to discover our magic zone today. Now this video what we have shared with all of you, and you can see in this screen, is a video about do you dare to dream. Have you seen this video? Because we have shared this when you have registered, and I am going to explain this video today in terms of the 4 zone that we have in our life, and then I will take one by one. So the first one is more in terms of the the growth mindset, is the comfort zone. Sorry. And what is a comfort zone? The comfort zone is all about your strength. It's all about your attitude. It's all about your behaviors. It's all about your relationship at your home, in your office, or within your friend circle. Comfort zone is all about the skill set that you have today. And I understand that all of you are either in the final year of engineering or in the final year of MBA, which means that you are a well-educated individual, and there are certain concepts that you are very strong, and that comes to the comfort zone. However, as you know that our life has a work space of 50 years, meaning that we can be productive up to 50 years from the date of start. That's how an individual is so powerful, and you are so powerful as well. And one of the very good signs what I see today is that in a very nice Saturday evening, you have decided to invest 90 minutes of your time in a webinar of growth mindset. Is also something related to the learning space that you are looking forward. And that's where the learning zone come, and this learning zone come because you want to become something, right? You want to do something different, you want to do something better. And as an example, in your free time you travel, to a new place, you discover, you know, a new experience. In this new experience, assume that you are, you know, you are visiting Taj Mahal. So you have a travel experience, you have a, you know, visit of the Taj Mahal itself, you see the fineness and so forth. So this is also related to your education space as well. So today you have a certain, you know, skill set. Let's an example, there is an MBA HR student today. Is HR good enough to, you know, do well in life? Probably answer is no, because you have to learn the complete management of a company. You have to learn the society. You have to learn the values. You have to be a good, you know, parent, you know, in year to come, which means that, you know, there are many things that, you know, we need to, you know, do. And for that, we need to develop many competences. And one of the competence, what is very, very important, is the problem solving. And what is a problem solving? Because, you know, you are, you know, you have identified a problem, you have, you know, discovered a method to solve the problem, you have, you know, moved forward and you found a solution. And once you find a solution, you know, your satisfaction comes, and that is the process of the problem solving. And life is all about, whether it is your, you know, whether it is your experiment in the lab, whether it is a, you know, a home where you are, you know, probably trying to cook a new dish, or in the office where probably you are developing a new product. So you always feel that continuous improvement is a core part of our life. And then what happens is that when you move into that type of, you know, extra effort, it means that you move to some sort of uncomfortable zone as well. Now that zone is called panic zone. Now, why it is called panic zone? Because you are stressing your, you know, life, you are stressing your competence. You want to do something, you know, little different. And when you want to do something different, the new, you know, space come to you, and that's become, you know, a little bit uncomfortable. So sometimes your, you know, your brain says that, you know, you should do it, but probably your heart says something different, and is a, you know, vice versa. Which means that, you know, as a human being, you would like to come back to the comfort zone. So the beauty is that, example today in this situation of COVID, we have to see, you know, whether shall we go back to the comfort zone, or shall we, you know, continue to solve the problem, find new ways and move forward. And once you decide to move forward, you know, that's where the magic zone come into the picture. And this is the zone where you get a big challenge, and that challenge is nothing but your competence development, because we must acknowledge that the change management is competence development. Until unless we find a change, until unless, you know, we go to a new skill. Example, me as an HR person, I have to learn how to conduct a webinar successfully today, which I have not done in last, you know, 5 to 10 years. Today, COVID is, you know, helping me to learn to do a webinar in a very good way, so that I am able to have a dialogue with all of you today. And that is, you know, something I feel proud of it, because, you know, I'm able to share my experience. You know, Baljeet is able to share the experience, and that's where the magic zone comes, where you could able to learn and move forward and so forth. And in this zone, what happened, there are also two elements. You know, one element is the emotional part of it, and second element is the creative part of it. So the emotional part of it, what happened, it pushes us back, but the creative part of it, it takes us ahead. So we have to find our own balance, and in this own balance, there are many, you know, elements come to the picture. Example, what is your value system? You know, what is your skill set? What is your vision of life? What is, you know, what is that, you know, one friend that you have that probably you want to make him or her as a mentor? So these are some of the introspection that you and me need to do. And this particular, you know, cycle is relevant for everybody. It is relevant for you. It is relevant for me as well. So it does not mean that it is relevant to only one person of the demographic as well. So what does it mean? What you see here is a life which always have upstream and downstream, and it is up to us, you know, to see how, you know, we manage our life in a very, very good way, and in a very, very meaningful way. And that is, you know, the science behind dream. That is the science behind the change management that you want to bring in your life. And this is the growth mindset that today we want you to take it forward. So I have an exercise for you, the way Baljeet has spoke about, and this exercise is more about a SMART goal. So the question is, do you have a goal in life? Do you have a SMART goal for next 2 years, right? Do you have a SMART goal of next 6 months? So if you have, then we need to understand, is the goal is SMART. So what does it mean? It needs to be specific, it needs to be measurable, it needs to be achievable, it has to be realistic, and it has to be time bound. And in that, what happened, when you are developing this exercise, so I would suggest that you take out a plain page and think 3 things before you write down the goal. Number 1, how will I feel if I achieve this goal? Meaning that if you achieve the goal, will you feel happy or will you feel probably not happy? So your feeling you have to think about. So the feeling is very, very important. The second part is that what are some possible obstacles that I may face? Meaning that when you move forward, there are always obstacles. So you need to visualize what are the obstacles, and having visualized, we need to find what are some of the possible solutions which will help me to move forward. Because one thing we all need to know, the difference between knowledge and the wisdom. Now, I would say, in addition to the wisdom, there is another third element, which is called intelligence. And let me explain you these 3 words in a very simple way. Knowledge is nothing but the information what we have today, right? When you Google it, you have a lot of information. You have a lot of books in the college, at home. Your father is a very learned man. You have a very fantastic circle who give you a lot of education to you. Is it good enough? Answer is yes, because the knowledge is the base. But the point is that, how is your personal wisdom, using that particular knowledge to, translate the knowledge to a certain product or certain services, which is helping the society, which is helping the customer. Now, in that particular value chain, how does it work is that you need to have an intelligence to ensure that, there is an input, there is an output. The complete funnel is very, very active, and you are able to translate your knowledge to a product, and where you are bringing an experience to a customer or the one who is using it. So from that particular perspective, when you are making your goal, you think in a simple way, and this is the exercise I feel that it will help you. So with that, I must say that we have another fantastic story today, and let me see. Today my internet is not that very good. I'm trying to move to the next page here. And Mridu, are you around?
Yes, I'm around. Hi.
Okay, very good, very good. Yeah. So I'm just trying to take the screen to next page, and just an introduction. Maybe Mridu, you can start, and the screen will.
Yeah. So yeah, hi, Pronob, I can start, right? So I'm Mridu. So I'm the co-founder and CEO of the company called Automovill Technologies. So we service car to a digital platform, and currently we're doing a lot of other things as well. So I started my journey as an engineer who doesn't know how to drive, and I started my journey after doing my engineering. I did my engineering from a very small college, so in a government college in Assam. So it's a good learning for all of us, because you will feel that only the IIT and IIM guys open companies, but yes, people like us also present who have companies who established from a small place in Assam and then come to Bangalore and dare to dream and started company which has offices in 4 cities, and we're expanding into many other places. So now come back to my life, how it started. So it's all about moving out of comfort zone. That is the first line I would say, and you have a dare to dream. So how we start our professional life after completing our education most of the time. So when you are doing your studies and when you're in college, so you have questions like this: will I get a good job, or where will I get a job? Then you will get a moment when you find that yes, I got a job. And we all have this moment, or you all will have the moment, like Baljeet has said. So we all got a moment that where we got a job. Wow, I have a job in hand. Then after some time, you'll feel like, is it something I should do? Like, is it what I'm supposed to do? My other friend is doing much better than that. and you feel like you're a little doomed. Then you started questioning yourself. Then you miss the things which you have learned so far. You miss the capabilities you have within yourself to grow, but you start just worrying about it, that I missed the bus or I'm in the wrong place. Then you slowly move back, step back, and you started thinking that, yes, I have an idea, or I want to learn something new. And then you started sharing your ideas with the people you know, the peers around you, your friends and all. And they said, are you nuts? You know nothing about that idea. Or you cannot do it, man. Or maybe that guy has already done that and he failed. And you again take a step back and you never try that, and you miss to learn, and probably you go back to your corporate life, feel little bad about yourself, but you don't really try it out. But the many people, like someone like me, who thought that, if that guy is saying bad about it, let me try it once. Why not try it? So you can you go back to the previous screen? Yeah. Then you start the previous one. Yeah. Then you start trying it. Then you talk to a different kind of people. You know somebody who has done something different in their life, or you start meeting a people who are from that specific field, and they started encouraging you. Yes, bro, you have a very good idea. You can try it. And you start thinking that, yes, this is possible, because there are people who believes me. And you take the plunge with that encouragement. And you meet new people who started adoring your passion. So for me, it was Automovill. I never had a car. I never drove a car till 2010. But by 2015, I had a car servicing company who was working with companies like Ola, Uber, Droom, Dragzy, many companies, and also a lot of customers in 4 different cities as of today. The next screen. We can go to the next screen. Yeah. So I dared to move out of my comfort zone, and I felt that I can be an entrepreneur, and I wore my passion cap. So I said, this is a passion cap. So my passion was on that I'll start a company in car servicing platform. I will solve a lot of problem for people. I will make the entire journey of car service as a new experience. And you started jumping into it, and you realize that, yeah, now you have to be the leader, because you don't have 10 other people around you. You're not in your office job with a big team. So you have to get to the leadership role where you have to do everything from bringing the car to talking to the consumer to anything. So for you, if you're starting a new company, maybe you have to design your product, you have to design your package. If you're developing some software, so if you do from the screen designing to the database to everything. So everything you have to start doing of your own. Then you get a team, then you have to start motivating yourself, you have to start motivating your team, because when you start something new, you ought to do some mistake, because many of us will be first-time entrepreneur when you're doing it. So you will do some mistakes. So you have to self-motivate yourself. Mistakes do happen. Then your team will do mistakes. Then you have to learn them. You have to motivate them. This is first time you do it. Happens. Let's go to the next thing. I mean, we can do better than that. Then you build your team. Then you have identified your team. Then there are people who comes and join. So for me, the best thing was happened that my childhood friend who was in US for almost 10 years by then, he came and joined me. Chinmay, he's my CEO now. So he came and it was a big shot in my arm. He handled the entire finances of the company. He said, Mridu, you build the operation, you build the team, and he handled finances. He invested money in the company, he invested his time. He gave structure to my team, and my team was almost ready. So my operation I was ready, and I was started delivering. Then during that time, I found my new strength. I found that my strength is not actually to develop the software which will run my billing, my system, or my customer interactive things. It has to be done by someone else. I realized that finance is not my cup of tea to handle operation and finance at the same time. So my skill was a little different. My skill was organizing the people, starting new client, and going to a new city, explore the nuances of business in every city, those kind of thing. And I found my strong point, and I found the strength in my team, and that's where the growth story started. One of the next one. The next, yeah. So when I got my team, I started doing business, and I see that the magic happening. So how magic happens? So I started. So it's a very small steps. You also do market for your product or your service. So I started distributing pamphlets on a petrol bunk. Me and my friends. So after 12 years of IT job, white collar AC office job, I started distributing pamphlets. I was running marketing campaigns on the road, in apartments, in offices. Then I saw 10 people who came, who believed in me, who believed in my idea. They started giving their vehicles. I serviced them, I impressed them, and they brought me another 100 customers. They tell people that my service is good. For you, if you build a product or if you start delivering some food, they will say that, yeah, his food is good, then you will get your 10 to 100 customers. It becomes very easy. Once your passion turns to leadership and you have a team, then getting your next 100 customers becomes very easy. Then the next magic happens. Then I got a pan-India deal. So I left my job in 2016, and by 2017 April, I have my operations running in Bangalore and Noida, in 2 cities. I never visited Delhi. I've been there only once before, but I started office in Noida in 2007. Just 4 months after leaving my job, my first magic happened. So I was doing a pan-India contract with one of the ride-hailing company. And that's when I realized that I have done it. I have arrived, and I started thinking bigger. I realized that it's not about sustenance, it's about building my company. So I started looking for fund. So I fund. So I have started approaching people for fun. And then the learning which I had for almost a year from VCs back in 2017, 18 starting. And luckily Pronob was also there on that day, if you Pronob remembers. So there they asked me a few questions, and that happened. That magic happens for me. So I got a nice check from our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. So I was one of the first company to be funded by Startup India through my VC at that time, and check was personally handed over by our Prime Minister. So that was one of the biggest moment in my life. So if you see from the left of my screen, that is me and Chinmay when we started our office in a small room. Then there's, if you see, come down, you can see those vehicles. So we are testing those vehicles ourselves. My photo was not there, but we're doing it. Then the next step is when I got the check, and then I built my team. So you can see the photo on your right. That's too many people there. So that's my team in Bangalore at that time. Then started growing. Then as recently, so I'm fast forwarding a year, then 2019 and then 2020 starting, COVID happened. So there's no car on the road. Nothing was there. I was doomed. I was like, there's nothing is happening. So like anybody else. So that was a moment where you all will come for all of the entrepreneurs. Some moments like this will come in their life where funds will end, all the contracts will cancel. But I never stopped. So what I did, I started sanitizing vehicle, and you won't believe the first vehicle I sanitized, again a coincidence, was a Chief Minister vehicle. See, and small Innova in the middle. So my team in Guwahati started sanitizing. The first vehicle that came to us was Chief Minister of Assam. So we approached government of Assam that we are doing sanitization because we had a car's background. We know how to clean a car. So we started doing sanitization. And the first thing was CM's car, then governor's car. Then I got a contract in Bangalore police. So you can see my photo there. So I started cleaning my car again. So my journey started again in 2020. That's 2 months back. And then when I realized that, yes, I had a passion in me, I learned the things, I had a team who backed me up, and we started again reliving that journey again. Now at the time of COVID, when there are no cars on the road, you won't believe I'm giving proposal in UP, I'm giving proposal in Tamil Nadu, I have proposals for Mumbai. Everywhere I'm sending proposal because that one step I've taken of sanitization vehicle. The first vehicle was free, of course, for government, but yes, now we are again back on track. We're getting cars for service as well, and also the sanitization work. So it's a very tremendous journey, I would say, from being an engineer from a small place for whom getting a job was the only thing, to a place where I'm employing hundreds of people, I'm generating revenue, and I'm growing day by day. And I got a very good publicity also recently. If you look, I have been published in Economic Times to Times of India in just last 2 months time, I'm saying, not previous. So that's a different kind of journey which I went through, which I came, and I came kind of, I would say, victorious for the time being. So that's all about my journey. So I don't know how much I have summarized, how much I have skipped through on the entire places, but it was, I believe it is inspiring for a few of them. So as a small exercise, so I believe all of you should feel among yourself, like we should try among yourself that what is your potential, what you believe your potential, which you can describe in a word, or maybe 2 or 3 sentences, which you think can help you grow in your life, maybe career, maybe job, or maybe your next idea which you want to implement. And what would you like to be? I mean, whether you want to be a musician, maybe someday, somebody wants to be a good cook, somebody wants to be an entrepreneur, somebody wants to be something, but everybody has a dream, which are in a position where they want to become. So what is that? And the third thing, what are the changes you need to do for achieving that? So these 3 things, if you realize at any point of time, or when you started summarizing it, you will find that yes, you have arrived at a goal, you have arrived at a path, and what that path will define you as a person, and that path will define your next phase of your life. Over to Pronob actually for this thing.
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes, very much.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mridu. It was a definitely a very successful story. All the way from a software engineer to an entrepreneur, and also supporting the COVID disturbances that what we have. That's also very appreciating, and thank you so much. So I like to now, summarize in a very simple way what Baljeet spoke about, what I spoke, and as well as now what Mridu spoke. So what is the rule of the game? What did you learn? So I would say that the managing self and discovering your magic zone is the rule of the game, and this is what we wanted to emphasize today, which means that everybody, you and me, need to have a very good self-assessment. So we need to do our self-introspection, and we have to move towards the magic zone. Every individuals are different, all are very strong, both physically and mentally. And henceforth, we have to find our own magic zone and move forward. And I want to repeat again the concept of imagination and the concept of knowledge. What I personally believe, a quote from Albert Einstein. He says that imagination is more important than knowledge. So I would say that keep imagining and so forth. At the same time, you need to have a very good friend circle. You need to have a network. I'm sure all of you are active in LinkedIn and social media and so forth. You need to follow your behaviors, what your parent and what my parent told me. And we have to be finally a good human being, one, to self. We should not destroy our own life, and at the same time we should not destroy others' life also, which means that we have a responsibility to be a right citizen in India and also globally. So all of you and me, we are one, we are an Indian citizen. At the same time, we need to remember we are also a global citizen. And to become a global citizen, what is very important is the continuous learning process, and this is the continuous learning process we want to continue. and that is applicable for all of us. That is applicable for government, for you, for doctors, for me, for entrepreneur, for business leaders, because the learning is always continuous. So that is I would say, a little bit of a brief summary, and I repeat: managing self and discovering your magic zone is the rule of the game. So with that, I open up the dialogue sessions. And I would say, why dialogue sessions? You may have some questions, so we are here to take some of your questions. And, I understand the audience need to use the tool in putting those questions in the chat box, right? And then we take it up one by one. So Guru, can you help us in this?
Thanks, Pranab. I think we've already started getting questions. The first question, I think, I feel it is more relevant to Mridu. Mridu, this is a question from Shruti. How to look for people who can guide us where we want to go in our career? That's the first one. And how to know you have gained knowledge to start something on your own, like your business. I mean, I think this is more relevant to Mridu, but either Pranab, Baljeet, or Mridu can answer this question.
Yeah. So there is no definition where you can actually stop or you have acquired all the knowledge about something. So it's always a continuous process. So first thing, I believe you should have confidence in yourself. That is the first part of it. Once you have confidence in yourself, you can start solving problems, or you can start devising your solution, because you know that whatever you have thought is right, and you know who will be your customer. Then you can start building it. Then what I suggest, what I started on my part, I started because my journey started with the cars and garages. So I started visiting garages. I learned how the process works. I also reach out to customers to know their pain point. I had a car by that time, so I know my pain point. So I understood the supply part of it, which is the customer side, and the fulfilling part of it, which is the garage, right? So both the things, when I know that these two things are existed, then only thing is I have to the bridge, or I have to the gap. So if you want to be the gap, or you want to be the provider for some solution, then you should have the knowledge of both the sides, and then you think will believe you, who has believed in you, or who has done something similar to you. Then you will get a lot of answers cleared up.
Okay.
I hope I'm at least able to clear some of the doubt.
Thank you, Mridu. That really helps. I mean, there is a core of questions. So, guys, because we have a very limited time, I'll be taking most of the questions which are repetitive and present them to the speakers. They will answer it. Other questions, we will share the credentials of the speakers. You can mail it to them and they will respond to you. Okay. So, okay, we have the next question is from Anisha Cruz. At this point in time, is it bad idea to wait for a company that pays well, or should I choose to get into a job whatever comes in? So either of the speakers can take up this and please guide the student here.
Yeah, I can take. So the question, Guru, is that shall I take a job, right? Or shall I
whatever job that comes to me.
Can you just repeat the question once again?
At this point in time,
Okay.
Bad idea for me to wait for a company that pays well, or should I choose to get into a job whatever comes in?
Okay, very good. So before I answer this, I want to give a little bit of statistics, and then based on that you can you can decide by yourself. Number one, statistics is that the current employment rate in India is around 27%. Generally the average unemployment rate in India is around 8 to 10%, and it has gone up to 27%. What would be the scenario of 2021 is that the Indian economy will come back to a plus GDP rate. So today the current April GDP rate is around minus 2.6%, and then the US is around minus 4%. In fact Europe is around minus 7%. But the beauty is that China is plus 3%. So the next year in the Q1 2021, the Indian GDP is going to jump back, and that's why you see the Prime Minister bringing a lot of funding to MSME sector, and the Indian ecosystem is really getting up. The entire ecosystem is learning very fast to come out from this epidemic pandemic, and it is expected that the job market will come back. The second element I want the nationalism is coming back, which means that a lot of focus will come on the your domestic market, because the Indian agriculture system is primarily 50% of our Indian agriculture. It means that there would be a change of job in terms of competence, in terms of or probably the regular programming will go away, but more from integration or more from the platform point of view will come. Example, Zoom as a platform. Now, you as a student, you need to think what is the right move for you. But what is important is that the competence development is very, very important. So I would say that use this current time to develop your competence. Get ready for the job market. In the meantime, today, if you get a job, you please take it. You don't wait for it. But at the same time, you can always prepare to get a job, after a few months. At the same time, the job market is very good today for the, I would say the startup community. You can start your company today, because this is the best time to start a company in India. And because there are lots of problems. And when there are lots of problems, there are lots of opportunities, and you can bring a solution to it. So I would say we are no one to tell you whether you should take a job or not, but take a very intelligent view and bring the concept of this knowledge wisdom, and intelligence. Use these 3 words and take your decision. Thank you, Guru.
Thank you, Pranav. That was very insightful. The next question is from Sri Raksha. When we get some idea, we don't have any inputs of it, and there will be few negatives, whereas others demotivate. So how can we continue with that particular idea or dream? I guess this question is more to Mridu and Baljeet, because you guys have moved from your core to something else and have succeeded. I mean, I'm just taking a chance. Either of you or even Pranav could answer this, because I have personally, I know of Pranav helping out people in situations like this. Over to either of you. I mean, you could, all 3 of you could give your own perspective.
Maybe Baljeet. Yeah, Baljeet can take it.
Hi. So there will be a lot of negative people who will be there. Like I told you, when I wanted to move to HR, my family, which has been my biggest supporter, did not support me. But I had to take the leap of faith. I had trust in myself. I knew that this is a risk, and it is like you jump in the water. If you do not, either you learn to swim or you will drown. How strong are you inclined towards your idea? As I said, you have to, one of my mentor told me, go sleep on this idea. Think about it. Don't, it is not like one fine day you just decide and you go. You have to sleep on the idea. You have to keep thinking. You have to keep talking. Whenever I have an idea, I will go and talk to at least 20 to 30 people just to know an opinion. What do they think? What do they think? Most of the time, there are a lot of people who are not willing to move out of their comfort zone to the learning zone. But it is always, you have to hear your inner voice. Your inner voice is what your guiding voice is. So even if out of the 30 people you spoke to, 25 people said no to it, but your inner voice said, yes, take the leap of faith, take the risk, go ahead with it. And as Mridu said, you need that one person to have that faith in you. You do not need 99 people to not have faith in you. That one person who has faith in your abilities is the person you need, and then you need to jump. Mridu, maybe you want to add.
Yeah, you need just one person who tells it, go ahead. I think that guy done this well, or you do this step because you may be knowing something, so that one person can help you out. But yes, there could be 99 people who say that this may not be a good idea. That's correct. So confidence, self-confidence, and one good person. That is enough for you to start off anything.
Thanks, Mridu. Thanks,
Next.
Yeah. So the next question is from Shivansh. How should one motivate himself at such times like COVID-19, as this would not only affect entrepreneurs but also lot many jobs, especially people beginning their career?
Yeah, hi. It's Avinash, right? The name is Avinash, right?
Shivansh.
Guru?
Shivansh.
Shivansh. Hi, Shivansh. This is Pronob, and consider me as your elder brother, and let me share what I am doing, okay, during the COVID situation. I am reading Mahabharata, you know. I used to, you know, see TV, you know, when I was, you know, maybe I was in class 4 or 5 and things like that, and now I started reading Mahabharata. The question is why, right? The answer is that it is calming me down. 2, it is giving me a very, very defined perspective away from my Volvo life and away from my regular life. And the 3 is that it's a very good time pass, you know, during this, you know, current situation. So what happened, you know, my point is that you identify one new thing which you have not done before. Example, you can do probably, you know, exercise, you can read, or you can see something, you can do something, but you have to do something very, very different, which is away from your, you know, regular life, and that will bring some sort of interest, and that would be very productive life for you. So that is one. And secondly is that always believe on yourself, that you will be a successful man either today or tomorrow, and that confidence will take you forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav. I hope that's really a Great idea for all of us. Moving on to the next question. Uh, this is from Satvika R. How do we get to know about various opportunities available to get into jobs we want during this COVID-19 period?
I'm sure all of you are in LinkedIn. I'm sure all of you read newspaper, and I'm sure all of you are connected in your college and the friend circle and so forth. There are many job portals, and I would say that establish your network. Or pull up all your friend circle or your family friends and things like that. So there is no any straight answer to it. But I would say that the networking, which is very important, and not necessarily you need to have 100 people who are very connected on daily basis. But if you know 4 or 5 people, that is good enough. But more than reaching somebody to find a job, find some mentors who can guide you towards the right direction. Because assume that you have not contacted somebody for last 6 months, and you contact him or her asking a job, that is not a fair relationship that we must acknowledge. So I would say that continue your good relationship, identify certain mentors, at the same time use LinkedIn, use your college network, and I'm sure as I said, India is going to come back. Today also there are a lot of job. Example, high-tech sector is there, pharma science sector is there. I understand the ICT sector, what we call as an information communication and telecom sector, it is there. The startup sector is there. So there are certain sectors which are doing well and will continue to do well. There are certain sectors today, example entertainment industry or retail industry, they will take some time, or foreign travel industries and things like that. But these are momentary. But at the same time, there are many sectors who are really preparing to take a leadership step. So be vigilant and use your network in a very smart way.
Thank you, Pronob. The next one is a question which is on planning. I think there are more than 18 people who asked this question, but I'm just rephrasing to encompass all the questions together. With regards to planning, is planning important or pre-planning important to be more successful and a better successful person?
Baljeet, maybe you can lead.
Planning is very important. I mean, practice planning to give structure to your idea is definitely, there is nothing that that can take place of planning. So, but there are things, sometimes things, unplanned things happen. Like Mridu said, right? No, none of us expected that COVID-19 will strike, and you're just caught off guard. You do not know, everything is going well, and suddenly there are no cars on the road. There are restaurants are closed. People who would have opened restaurants, there are no restaurants that are open. People cannot go. So what will you do in that case? No amount of planning will help in situations like this. But again, how do you cope up with such situation? You need to plan. You need to plan, how will I handle this situation? I read a lot of books and I hear a lot of lectures. So they say situation is not in your control, but how you react to the situation is in your hand. Whether you whether you sit and think about whether I should take a job or not, and you're planning, or should I take or should I wait for the right job to come in? You never know, right? I never thought I would be a compensation person. I just kept taking all the work that came my way, and I kept moving, I kept learning, I kept falling. You fall 7 times, but 8th time you will get up and you will learn to walk. So that's what I can tell you. Mridu, maybe you want to.
I want to add. So planning is important to run the show or the place you are currently in. But vision is more important. If you have the vision that I am whatever I am doing today is going to take me to this place, and if something bad is happening, That may not be happening only to you. I'm more referencing to this COVID scenario. It's nothing. It's for everyone, right? Now everybody is coming back, but your goal is there, right? So if you are going there, there may be some hiccups here and there. You can always find a way around. So as I said, from my thing, there's no cars on the road, but there are cars available to get sanitized. So I started sanitizing. There are offices which are ready to be sanitized, because once I learned sanitizing on the car, I learned sanitizing on that. So my vision was to become Automovill as a company, a portal which is giving everything, all mobility solutions. So whatever the mobility problem today, which is sanitation, which I identified at that point of time, I pick up sanitation, and it worked for me. So similarly, if you're doing something, there are many companies I know who are into manufacturing. They started manufacturing masks. There are many companies who are doing online ticket booking. Now they are building tools to identify your next person who is sitting to you in a vehicle or in an office. You know, some kind of like Arogya Setu app. You won't believe the company who has developed it. It is developed by Make My Trip. They don't have a single flight booking, but they have developed it. They use their technology team to develop Arogya Setu app, which is now world's most downloaded app. The company who did not make a single revenue in 2 months, but he had this in mind that we are a portal which gives all the solutions. So when tomorrow market will open up, Arogya Setu is one of the most useful app for everybody who is into travel. So because his vision was travel, giving travel solution, he was able to come out of it. Yeah, over to you, Guru. Thanks.
Thank you, Mridu. So the next question is a thorough human resource related question, which has come multiple times. What developments could happen in HR due to this pandemic situation? Either Pronob or Baljeet could answer this question.
I can take it up, no problem. See, when we say development, that happening is more, I'm telling more from the Volvo point of view and my own personal experience. It's a development on health, safety, and well-being. Earlier, the health, safety, and well-being was more, a accident rate, where you do fire drill, once in 3 months and 6 months and things like that. Now the health, safety, health, and well-being is in a leadership talk, and that is a very, very good development, which is, which spread across, your industry and spread across the management verticals, all the way from CEO down to. So that is one development. The second development, what is happening is more with this work from home, the concept of virtual management, the concept of virtual learning. And today, if you see, we all of us, right, working from home, and on one side we are equally productive. We are, it's not that we don't have, work. We are working probably 9 hours a day, and in fact, work from home is giving more work today. So the point is that the virtual, management, whether you talk about, pay slip, whether you talk about, employee engagement, whether you talk about performance management, leadership talk, talent review within HR, these are all, virtually happening. So one of the key skill set, is more on the, agile leadership now. Earlier, agile was more in the software coding process, but now it has come in our mindset also how we can have this, agile process. The third thing is that the functional competences first will always, grow because of this industry 4.0. Just an example, there is a growth of HR analytics, there is a growth of, machine learning, but these words sometimes are very technical. So don't get, worried and get scared. Because finally, if you bring machine learning, you have to bring machine learning in the recruitment. The recruitment process remains the same. Right. So what happens is that as far as one has a fundamental knowledge and you keep developing those fundamental knowledge, at the same time, the latest, I would say the premium scale is more on the design thinking and always on the system thinking. Now, what is the system thinking within HR or within marketing or finance world is that we need to have an end-to-end, perspective, within our company. Example, how a blue-collar employee can contribute to the success of the customer is super important. So the visualization of our work when I'm doing something, I need to think and relate how my work is translating to the product value, and how the product value is helping the customer to have a better, experience. So that type of system thinking we need to bring when we do things, and doing that you are more analytical, you are more knowledgeable, you need to read a lot, you need to have cross-functional, responsibility today. So there is no more that you will do one job, 6 months and 1 year. So you have to keep changing, your role. Your job may be the same, but you have to do variety of job in a one position. So a lot of these are the development I am thinking, but in a simple way, don't worry too much, as far as whatever the job you get, whether it is a doctor, engineer, social worker, as far as you do your job in a very, meaningful way, with true heart and thinking that, your job is helping somebody. That is also that is good enough. So, but at the same time, we need to acknowledge that industry 4.0 is coming very fast, and the world, pandemic is actually giving motivation to industry 4.0. So a lot of technological, innovation is going to come, not only in the software industry. It will go inside the agriculture system. It will go to next door, where you have the lift. How the lift will operate, that there also you will find AI and machine learning coming up. So a lot of changes coming up, and I would say that this growth mindset, that's why what we are talking will really help you. But on the basic fundamental, it is a hygiene factor, and you really need to keep studying your subject, and you need to have a better subject knowledge. Without, subject knowledge, you don't have a foundation of your house, so you can't think about third floor and fourth floor. So there is no, a shortcut. You have to read your books, you have to study and so on.
Thank you, Pronob. Because we've just got 3 minutes left, I would want to quickly take one feedback before we go to a couple of other questions that we can take. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Just give me a second. Okay, guys, you might.
This feedback is, yeah.
This is on Mentimeter. So guys might want to. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. So you'll have to go to menti.com and use the code 684677, and you will be able to see the question.
Yeah, for those who are probably taking time, you can go to your web browser. You can type www.menti.com, and when you type that, there is a screen for you to put the code, and the code is 684677. And with that, you can give the feedback. Of course, your feedbacks are very valuable to us, and it also inspires us to continue the work that we are doing.
While we are getting the feedback, Pranab, just wanted to move on to the next question.
Okay, you want me to share the screen?
No. Let this be happening now. Should not be.
Okay. Maybe maybe what we can do, Guru, because of the time, because it may take some time, right, for people to log in, so we can give 2-3 minutes. That's fine. But maybe me and Guru on behalf of NHRD Bangalore chapter, we want to tell you that NHRD, is a very active community, and the focus is always on competence development. One for the professionals, and absolutely for the student community, and this Confluence team is always very focused on students community competence development work. So you can visit our website, which is NHRD Bangalore.com, right, Guru? And
Yes.
then there is a registration page for you to become a member. And I would personally recommend you to become a member, because when you become a member, you come in a formal network, and that network help you to learn new things, to know new people, to get some ideas, and so forth. So nowadays, it's all about network. So I would suggest that you join and take the membership, and for the membership all the details are there. And I also understood that this year the membership fee is also waived off, right, because of the COVID situation, Guru.
No, it has been reduced, Pranav, from 1,000 rupees. It has been reduced to 590.
500. Okay, that is fantastic. So and of course, more than the money, what is important is your aspiration to learn. And I am a personally active member of NHRD for last 6-7 years, and today we are all here because of NHRD. So it is a very good platform to be in. Of course, there are many other professional networks. You must also join them, but this is one opportunity that you have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. So moving on to the next question, Pranav, that we have. There's one question that this question has been asked more than 12 times. So I'm just asking this in what can you do to make ourselves more employable considering the pandemic scenario now? This is the question that has been asked.
Just tell me again, Guru.
What can we do to make ourselves more employable considering this COVID situation now? This question has come multiple times.
Yeah, sure, sir. I can take it up. See, employability skill is a subject that is relevant before COVID and after COVID. Because of two reasons. There is always a change, in the society. That there is always a competition, and the world is moving very fast. So I would say, don't think employability skill from the COVID perspective. This is temporary in nature. It will go. What is more important is that the knowledge what you have, how you are able to apply at your job, or creating a new startup company, or practicing a values with your friendship is also an employability skill. And for that, today I would say that there are a lot of learning opportunities. So there are a lot of webinars, there are a lot of Coursera, there are a lot of learning platforms like Coursera.org. And then what happened is that today, probably you have enough time also to do something very different. And I would say that there are new skills. The new skills are some of the skills are very I would say standard across the stream. That's an example, analytical skill. It is a new skill we need to develop, or tech savvy. So today across the stream you really need to be very good in tech savvy, right? The third thing is I would say that bring a little more global perspective in your mindset. When you say global perspective, try to appreciate the differences in the society, appreciate the cultural challenges that you may find, and so forth. So and then there is no simple one medicine that take crocin and your fever is gone. And as I said, every individual is very, very powerful, both physically and mentally. And then if you have 2-3 mentors, continue your dialogue with mentors. Ensure that all of you who are attending today, find a mentor. That mentor can be a friend, the mentor can be your father, the mentor can be your colleague, or some seniors like me and all of us, and assume that you have a mentor, and then have that continuous dialogue process. Don't go to the mentor asking a job. That is not mentorship. Okay, go to a mentor with a mindset of learning something and developing your employability skill, and then you will be a successful individual. Now the concept is that the success is very relative in nature. The success of today has got no relevance after 5 years, because the success, the sustainability of a success is generally 2 to 3 years. Your definition change every 2 to 3 years. So as far as you are successful today and for next 2-3 years, that should be the very, very realistic vision that you need to have. You don't need to think what you will do in 50 years, 60 years. As far as you are happy today, you must be good and good to go.
Thanks, Pranab. I think we will the webinar will close in the next 1 minute. Thank you all for joining this session. We have another 25 different questions that are there. I would request all of you to write to us. You can write to us on the on reachers@nhrd.bangalore.com. We will share it with our esteemed panel, and once we have a response from them, we will try and respond to as many questions as possible. Thank you all again for joining. Hope this was an enlightening experience. Definitely, it was one for me, sure. Thanks, Pronob. Thanks, Baljeet, and thanks, Mridu, for taking out time on a weekend and helping our students out. Hope all of you are safe, and hope. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
People are just